well, it's taking 10 GP. I think I need to close it for now.
Alright, sure. Just gonna try to find my way to string.
So I hope. Now I'm 250 down.
It's not the right move. Ooh, I got a Tanga berry and an oval stone. Why does an oval stone sound like a sex toy?
There's sex to mention it.
What?
Why did you mention that? Now I'm gonna never not see it as a sex toy.
Does it not? Does it not sound like it?
It does, right?
Oh my god, this Donphan is fucking tiny. I don't die. Good shit, so far. Oh yeah, could you check Slowbro's Evo?
Level 37.
37? Oh my. I tried using a grass type just now. Oh my goodness, it sucks, man. Oh, the grass. Eldergrass. Eldergrass sucks, man. My goodness. It's so hard. Do you like blue as the color of trees or whatever? Like wood. Blue wood.
Like that existing?
Do you think it's a good color for wood?
Uh-oh.
What's up?
Nothing. People are
Yeah?
using PETA is using Uma Musume in their advertising.
Is one of the horse girls basically dying?
They're trying to be like, oh, you don't want to support horse racing unless you want it to the same thing that happened, like what happened to the real Silent Suzuka, as if what happened to him wasn't a terrible accident people did not like.
I
Like,
don't know what to say,
PETA
man.
is getting way too brave. They don't know how fucking dedicated the horse racing fandom in Japan is. They will actually kill people in PETA, you know?
I mean, no one's gonna stop them.
I mean, I'm not stopping them, but like, that is very bold of them to try and fuck with the Suzuka fans.
Yeah? I
Because
agree.
like that was a horse that died young, unfortunately, over an injury that no one saw coming, and he had to be euthanized, not because they wanted to be cruel. It was literally the only safe way for him to die without it being agonizing.
Hmm. What does hippogriffs usually
What?
hippo whatever? What do they
Oh,
usually like? Where do they usually live at?
hippos?
Hippogriff.
Hippogriff. Don't know.
Okay, I killed one. I killed one and he only dropped leather. What is this bullshit?
Oh, it's not recovering. It's still only at 250.
250 is good though.
I guess it's just like, oh, I wanted to play other games, but I feel,
What
you know what?
games?
Just
Fortnite?
do it now. Do it Night Abyss,
Oh,
which is 15 GB.
where the fuck is this Weedle at?
Hmm?
I'm trying to find this fucking weirdo.
Oh.
There it is.
Why am I getting a 49-minute video about parkour civilization being a being fundamentally broken, a sociological analysis? What the fuck?
No, that's Peak. What are you talking about? It's a Peak video right there.
Hmm.
Have you watched the video about the 6'7" kid being basically being an allegory for Icarus?
No,
Why not? I heard it's actually good.
I don't want to think about 6'7" for the rest of my life.
You're just wait. You're just over exaggerating the impact of 6'7".
You say that as if you aren't the person who's making me hate it.
Oh my goodness. One more string. Please give me anything. Ah, I see a Toto Guardian. I killed said Toto Guardian. I can let my Pokemon kill whoever.
What?
I can let my
Huh?
Pokemon kill the rider mobs while I like feel or whatever.
That is true. We can make them eat Gyarados fucking asshole.
Do you think Mizurugi is a tragic villain?
Only by the end.
Same here. I do think that they could improve on it if they had the
If I
time.
had the time.
Sorry, something came through my throat. It was sadness.
You mean your tears?
It was my tears poking through them. Okay. What do you think Vipers? What do you think Viper finds fun?
I don't know, man.
Bullying children on the internet.
Yeah.
Hold on. I'm, I'm thinking what went wrong.
This observer right here notices whenever these shears are basically activated, or this dispenser basically gets activated when the observer notices that these grow. For example, you hear that? That just means that these grows. Pretty much how it works, but screw it.
I see the problem.
What?
I'm just experimenting. Okay, works. Alright, thinking. Okay. Okay. Marcy, can I chop down all the apricot
What?
trees? I'm gonna go chop down all the apricot trees.
Alright.
Because I made a apricot farm.
Alright.
Anyway. You think young Sheldon is a good representation of autism?
What?
You think young Sheldon is a good representation of autism?
No.
Why not? Why
He's
not?
not a good represent. He's just supposed to be there because his character was just created as a joke of
He
like
was?
weird neurotic people. He's literally a part of a sitcom where the whole point is that all the main characters are annoying ass nerds.
That's mean. That's not nice. I feel bad actually. But I kinda like watching a bit of Young Sheldon and Big Bang Theory.
Well, yes. I mean, it's like I don't care if people like it. It's just I don't like it. That's it.
Alright, the farm is complete.
Yeah. I'm still traumatized by how it took my 4 GB.
Yeah, I always thought Young Sheldon was cool. Unironically.
Huh?
I thought
What?
like Sheldon was cool when I was younger.
I mean, I get it because that would probably be like the only representation of autism anyone has ever seen, unfortunately. Now?
Yes. This is last time. You don't time reading.
Yeah.
Thanks to Rocket Money for sponsoring this video. More about them later. Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to flash my light. FNAF horror animations are one of my favorite things to consume on YouTube. Whether it's the 3D animations like Tunnel Vision, which is absolutely horrifying,
Foxy, I want to go home.
Engaging that retrieval.
or just the various FNAF VHS series out there that give these pretty terrifying stories that are either recreations of the FNAF story or their own original take on the FNAF story that amp up the horror factor by a ton. A lot of these can be considered AUs or alternate universes, which is fair to describe them as, with them differentiating from the FNAF story quite a bit. And today I wanted to share one that I found that is honestly one of the most disturbing and gruesome retellings of the Five Nights at Freddy's story. All of it is done in 2D and with 2D animation. We have a series of tapes created by Happy Tree X1, and while this series doesn't have an official name, we have a series of FNAF VHS tapes that tell a story that is not only disturbing in the way it presents its horror with its body horror, but the way it presents the events of FNAF. And before we start with these horrifying tapes, I just wanted y'all to know that I made a community post in which I said if we reach 100k subs on the channel before the end of 2025, so before January 1st, that I would get the infamous thumbnail that I made, aka He Ate Them, tattooed on me. So if you all want to see that happen, go ahead and subscribe. Please don't do it. I'm begging. But you know what else I was begging for? To figure out an easier way to cancel my Netflix subscription. Because just the other day, I spent hours trying to unsubscribe. Not to mention, I didn't even realize I was still paying for it. Well, luckily today's sponsor, Rocket Money, is here to help. Rocket Money is an all-in-one personal finance app that helps you cancel subscriptions, lower bills, and manage your money better. I love using Rocket Money to cancel unwanted subscriptions. Once you connect your bank account, Rocket Money identifies all of your subscriptions in a single list. From there, you can select the ones you don't want anymore, and Rocket Money may be able to help you cancel with just a few taps. Rocket Money is also awesome with helping people save money. Rocket Money has helped its customers save up to $740 a year when you use all of the app's premium features. They've also helped customers save over $880 million in canceled subscriptions. To save more and spend less, join the over 10 million subscribers using Rocket Money today. Click the link in the description, https://rocketmoney.com/orbit, or scan the QR code on screen to get started for free. Again, that's https://rocketmoney.com/orbit. And thank you again to Rocket Money for sponsoring this video. Let's go ahead and get into the first set of tapes. I'm simply calling the maintenance tapes. The first episode is titled Human Teeth. The description of the episode gives us the date recorded being August 22nd, 1985, and that Dan Brown was a night guard at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. While doing his nightly routines, he stumbled upon remains of a victim stuffed inside of Chica's mouth. Authorities never came. He never had a chance to call. The episode starts with text on screen saying, "I'm here doing my nightly maintenance on the animatronics. I was told by a coworker that Chica is due for a checkup, so I'll get started on that. Let me get the light." Suddenly we see Chica, and immediately our main character Dan is surprised by what he is seeing, with a set of human teeth and jaw are inside the Chica, which just immediately prompts Dan to call William Blurpleman. William answers the phone, and you can tell it's him because of the purple text, by the way. Dan lets William know of the situation by telling him about the human jaw inside of Chica's mouth. William responds by saying, Dan, calm down. Are you feeling alright? There's no way anything like that happens," and proceeds to tell him to take a look at her again, and that he's probably just seeing things. Dan turns the light on again, and still the jaw is inside of Chica's mouth. But something is different with Chica, now looking right at Dan. Dan is obviously freaked out and says he is not taking blame for this. But then William responds with, "Dan, it's a pity you came to work and had to see this." He laughs and tells him he won't be leaving and that they know he is here. The lights go out and William says, "Good luck," and he hangs up on Dan, and we see this. So from the description and what we just saw in the video, Dan did not make it out of there, with him most likely either just simply killed or stuffed in the animatronic suit, and at the end you can of course see the classic "It's me" at the bottom of the screen. I think what makes this video especially scary is how quiet it is, with no voice actors in the video and what we just see pop up on screen. It's honestly horrifying to think what might have also happened to Dan. The next video is titled Together as One, with the date being October 9th, 1985. It's almost a month and a half after the last incident. We now see a new employee named Jeff Burke. He starts off by letting us know the date, and that the boss wants everything documented on film, as per usual. Which makes you think that William either gets some sick pleasure from having these filmed deaths, or he just wants to observe the interactions of people with the possessed animatronics. But continuing on, Jeff has to perform audio tests on Freddy. He goes to turn on the lights to begin the testing. The light comes on and we see Freddy. Jeff states that he's heard there are a lot of problems with the head and face and decides to start with that. The first audio test plays and this happens. Jeff stops the sound and is weirded out that Freddy's eyes are doing that and that it isn't supposed to happen. He starts the test again when suddenly all the lights in the facility go out. He goes to hit the breaker and... So again, we have a tape that features the animatronic seeming to attack a worker at night, which you can see again the mouth of the person inside the animatronic for a bit. But how Freddy ended up getting blood on him is unknown, but it could have just been him spitting out blood. But the laugh he gave and the eyes of Freddy were just honestly terrifying. And it still makes you wonder why William wanted all of this recorded. To me, it seems like he gets some sick enjoyment out of it. The next tape is called Hidden and takes place on September 15th, 1985. So going back a few weeks from the last tape, but still after the first tape. This time we have yet another different employee, Jordan Hill. And instead of having us at the beginning of tests, in this video he just finished all of the tests on Foxy, in which he failed all of them, and that he will let the boss know to get him working tomorrow. But it's about time he heads home. The lights go out, and we can see Foxy sitting there in the dark with the camera left on. We cut to close-up of Foxy, and his pupil is smaller. He begins to speak and says, "They can't fix me. Nobody knows where I went. I've been hidden too well. There is, however, someone," with the text "someone" being purple. And then this. In a horrifying depiction of Foxy where the animatronic is almost completely destroyed, you can pretty much see the thoughts and anger of this possessed Foxy manifested right in front of us. But suddenly, he returns to normal and continues on saying, "I will never know the satisfaction of death." With that being the end of this tape. The last maintenance tape is called Found, with the date being November 5th, 1985, so a couple months after all the previous tapes. This time we follow Mark Hall as he tries to fix Bonnie, in which he is not responding to movement cues and that he thinks that rust has damaged the internals. And he says he will take the fabric from the exoskeleton, but as he states this, a call comes in. It's William. William calls him frustrated, telling him that he's not scheduled to be there, but Mark says he was. William checks, but finds out he was indeed scheduled, and that it was a mistake and orders Mark to leave now. But as he says this, we can see Bonnie's eyes shift toward Mark. Mark snaps back, not noticing Bonnie looking at him, and says that he can't talk to him like that, even though he's his boss. And that he will finish what he's doing and then he will leave. William yells at him to listen, but then Mark hangs up on him. He immediately thinks that William is drunk again. He turns on the lights and immediately notices that Bonnie's eyes had moved. He says he has to start removing the fabric from the back of the head. Everything goes dark, but Mark says, "Is that blood?" It cuts and we see blood on the back of Bonnie. He thinks someone might have injured themselves working on Bonnie, but then suddenly Bonnie speaks and says, "Hello?" This obviously freaking Mark out. He doesn't even realize that Bonnie's the one speaking to him. We cut back to Bonnie's face now, staring right at Mark with his mouth open. Bonnie telling him, "I'm still here." Mark thinks that he is hearing things and should just go home, but Bonnie says, "Please don't leave just yet. Dad." Mark pauses before asking, "Jeremy, is that you?" Bonnie says yes, where we learn inside the suit of Bonnie is a son of Mark. And apparently he had died a few months prior, but Bonnie says, "I was taken," and that he just wants to go home. Mark asks what happened and who did this. Bonnie says because of him, with him being in purple text, and says, "Your boss. Your boss caved my skull in." This makes Mark get rightfully angry and says that he will kill William. But in response, Bonnie says, "You can't, Dad. He always comes back." Ooh, reference. He asks what can he do? And Bonnie tells him to leave, and that William knows you're here, and he is a dangerous man, and Mark will not win. And that he did his best to protect him, and that it's time he returned the favor. "I'm so happy I got to see you one last time." Mark begins to cry and says, "I don't want to leave you here." Bonnie says he's begging him and get out while you still can. Mark tells him he loves him, and they hug. And Bonnie/Jeremy says, "I love you too, Dad. Maybe when this is all over, we'll see each other in heaven." Mark says, "I love that, Jeremy. I promise I will come back." It cuts and he says, "Goodbye, Dad." The lights go out when suddenly we see William speaking. He says, "Oh, Mark, so now you know? Who cares? It won't change anything." He begins to laugh hysterically. "I hope your little family reunion was worth it, because it just cost your life. Gonna report me to the police, Mark? It won't change a thing. Now take a look at your precious little boy." And we see the mutilated face of Jeremy underneath the Bonnie mask. It's horrifying to look at, with this episode ending with William saying he would happily do it again. Start running. This episode is not only heart-wrenching, but really puts into perspective the lengths that William will go to keep his secrets safe, and that he truly seems like an unstoppable force. He truly is a horrifying monster that gets satisfaction from hurting these children. We now leave the maintenance tapes to go into the next set of tapes. These are a retelling of the FNAF 4 story, and it really puts into perspective how horrifying the events of that game were. The first tape is called Brain Damage. It starts off with our typical FNAF training tape intro, giving us an important announcement about the Fredbear endoskeleton, in which in the past few weeks there have been problems with the Fredbear's jaw, not moving as well as it should, and some fixes required to get it working. It warns us that fixing the skeleton of the animatronic and putting body parts near it could lead to death or injury, but suddenly the face of the animatronic changes to this. The tape transitions abruptly before we are shown the door. It swings open and we see this. This tape obviously alluding again to FNAF 4 and the bite of Fredbear's family diner, with us immediately then shown a Fredbear plush. It talks to Evan, our main character for this tape, and says, "Michael's scaring you again, huh?" Evan responds, "Yeah, he's such a jerk." Fredbear says he will keep him company and not to worry, and that he needs to get some sleep, and that they have a big day tomorrow. We are then shown the party in which we are at Fredbear's family diner, with Fredbear and Spring Bonnie or Golden Bonnie on stage. William says that he's been looking for Evan and can't find him, and it is assumed that he's probably hiding. William tells Michael to look for him and not to torment him today because he doesn't want him to ruin his birthday. We find Evan underneath the table, saying that Michael can't even be nice to him on his own birthday. Fredbear tells him to just write it out and stay there until Dad or William comes back with the cake. But then suddenly Michael finds Evan, and it's not good. Michael gets him out, and all of his friends are wearing these horrifying masks of the animatronics, before dragging him to the Fredbear animatronic and putting him right up to his face. Before... Evan dies, and following this we see a conversation between Evan and William, as William asks him, how do you feel that you just killed your own brother? He's done, and that Michael is not worth caring about. He hates Michael. Michael says that he's sorry for everything to Evan, even though he can't hear him, or at least he thinks, and that he will put his plushie next to him to keep him company, always. Following this we cut again, and Fredbear tells Evan that his brother hurt him, and that he will put them back together, before we see the Fredbear animatronic's eyes glow. And while this tape was mainly just a retelling of the FNAF 4 bite incident, I think it was well done and shown in a way that was pretty horrifying, while also giving us some more information about the conversations that were had between everyone. But this tape was only just a prelude to what is to come, because in the next tape, Aftermath, we see how William descends into madness from this event, and it's ugly. We get a glimpse inside the Afton household, as William talks to himself about the horrifying event that only happened a week prior. He mourns and yet feels so angry. He also says it was not his fault. He sits down to relax before 30 minutes go by. He's downed a lot of whiskey, and we can see the cigarettes on the windowsill as he screams out Michael's name. He yells that it was his fault for all of this over and over again, before he's interrupted by Michael calling out for his dad. We see Michael's shadow at the doorway, as William holds a cigarette in his hand. He says he is sorry again for Evan, and William says that he's, well, stupid, and that his apology doesn't mean anything, and if he has any idea how broken he is because of him. Michael snaps back and says not to act like you're the only one affected, and that he didn't want to hurt him, and that he still loved him, and that part of this was William's fault. This angering William even more, and Michael continuing saying that Fredbear was not safe. Suddenly, William goes silent, and his eyes are shown not on screen as he speaks in his head, saying that Michael is a coward, and he has no blame. Or then snapping back and telling Michael to get out of his sight. It cuts to Michael's room where he is sleeping, and Michael talking to himself, saying that his dad is a joke and it should take responsibility too, before trying to go to sleep, before suddenly... The next tape is called First Victim, and is by far one of the most horrifying tapes in the whole collection. This tape takes place on August 22nd, 1985, as we see someone pull up in the car to the employee entrance of a building. They go down the hallway of the pizzeria, where we're then shown the animatronics on stage. Then suddenly they arrive at a hallway where we see a girl playing on an arcade machine at the end of the room near Pirate Cove, where it turns out we are following William, where he says she's perfect. William then puts on a Spring Bonnie suit, but when he does and gets closer to the girl, we find out she is crying. She is sad because her dog is dead. He says, "Nonsense. I just saw your dog out back," before asking her name. Her name is Susie. He says that her puppy is with them and to follow him, before leading her to a very suspicious employees-only door. We can hear her laughter, but when she enters, it stops, and we see this horrifying event.
FNAF tapes have really been going downhill. No, see?
Hello?
Yeah.
I'm back.
Was
After this
FNAF tapes
horrific
really has been
incident,
going
we are
downhill.
then shown the marionette as he sits in a white void,
Oh, what?
waits
They're
for
getting more
Susie.
bad?
telling her she is
Yeah.
home now, but can't go back
I'm
because
not
that man is still out
surprised.
there.
All
We
of the
then
people who
see
did like the
this.
really good ones either got found out to be a pedophile or just fell off.
I mean, they just. I guess they just. I mean, Battington definitely is taking his time.
Back to him?
Yeah.
Oh, him? I mean, he's not entirely innocent. He did, again, he tried to spread misinformation that, the creator of the Walton Files fucking died for no reason.
Wait, what were the Walton Files? He's chill, right? Martin?
Uh,
Whatever his
not
name is.
Martin Walls, nothing, like, I guess the most controversial thing is that he's a pussy for not killing the dog in the in Return of
That's
the Pumpkin Rabbit because
controversial.
it's mushy. I don't know. That's the most controversial thing I can do is say Martin's a pussy for not killing
The final tape I
his
wanted to talk
puppy.
about is Golden Days,
I'd be a
which is
pussy
honestly
too, I'll be
equally as
honest.
disturbing as the last tape
I
with how it depicts
mean,
Athens' actions.
All I'm saying, if I
We are shown
put
the
like
inside of the
my
pizzeria as we
old,
go down the place at
you
night
asked me,
before
oh,
landing on
we're
the
gonna put your
employees-only door we
childhood
saw
doll
before.
into a horror
Inside on the
thing,
ground
and we're
is
gonna
Golden Freddy
kill it. I would
speaking,
fucking cry.
saying he remembers how things used to be. What he was
That
designed
would not
to
be
do
scary. That would be
when things were good.
miserable.
Before being taken back to 1983, where we witness Fredbear and Spring Bonnie as they play and sing on stage. Ironically singing I Don't Love You by My Chemical Romance, but distorted. But in this reminiscing of good old times, Golden Freddy says that all these things must come to an end. And something happened that day. He hurt someone, but there was an external factor, where we see Michael wearing his mask, staring with dark eyes and laughing. And then this.
I mean, if you want to know my favorite, I guess, FNAF VHS thing, it's, there's a really good explanation, summary of it by Papo, where it's like a children's game.
Where suddenly after
Like,
this,
I
he says he
forgot
felt a
what-
presence
It is a
inside
children's
him.
game, what are you talking?
It was Evan.
Yes, I
They were
know, but
bound
it,
together.
it's like
He
those,
sits back
in
like
the
that
game
one
as
Sonic
he talks to
edutainment
Evan.
game that inspired
Evan
Baldur's
asking
Gate
if
6.
he will see Michael again, with him not knowing if he will. And we can see Evan standing next
That
to
was
Fredbear as
my
he cries.
favorite
As a
FNAF
spirit.
VHS
He says if not
like.
today, maybe
thing.
tomorrow. Tomorrow is another day, my child. While these tapes don't have that much to speculate on, I think it does a great job displaying these horrific events in the FNAF universe in a new manner, with its amazing 2D style and 2D art, and showing us to the viewer first-hand experiences of the horrors in the Five Nights at Freddy's world. While some of it may not be canon, it's still done excellently, and I'm definitely going to recommend you go check out Happy Tree X1 and his channel for more stuff like this. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch y'all later. I'm Nightmare Freddy and I'm in your head. I'm Nightmare Anyways, FNAF fan games are everywhere, and I mean everywhere. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Whether it's recreations of the original FNAF games with their own unique spin on the games, or ones that are completely different from the originals, they all have their own spooky take on FNAF. But of all the FNAF fan games that are out there lies an outlier to these, and one that pretty much everyone knows at this point, and it's the cursed Five Nights at Freddy's ransomware games. They are everywhere. These horrifying and uncanny versions of the original games that depict themselves as these disturbing and almost analog horror style games, where almost nothing seems either finished or almost feels broken. All of it is done
Learning to
intentionally,
build
though.
in
But out of
Minecraft
all of
can
these
be
out
an
there, There was
intimidating.
one series of these games that I found that stuck out to me, and no one seems to be talking about them. The person who made them is Java's Games, and they made what is essentially their own trilogy of cursed and completely insane versions of the first 3 Five Nights at Freddy's games. And today, I'm going to be delving into these. And another reminder that I put out a community post that if I hit 100k subscribers by the end of the year, I would get the He Ate Them thumbnail tattooed on me. So subscribe if
Sunday.
you want to see that
You
happen.
already
Anyways, continuing on
and
with
Stone
these
as
games.
well.
Let's start off with Five Nights at Freddy's Free Edition, which this one is by far the most popular with Eamon playing the game. The game starts off with a warning screen for possible jump scares, which obviously you can't really read the text unless you squint your eyes, and when getting to the home screen you are greeted by this. Freddy smiling at you with this horribly creepy face. He does not look friendly whatsoever, and if you look closely you can see what looks like eyes inside his mouth. And the style of this game heavily resembles that of the Walton Files. Accompanying this is the most ear-piercing static you will ever hear in your entire life. But moving on, we have 2 choices being play and continue. We'll go ahead and press play, which when hovering over it, it changes to run. But if you do hover over continue, it says oddly body ? Very peculiar. Starting the game, we are greeted by a loading screen of a bunch of kids heavily distorted and in black and white. They almost look like a bunch of kids in karate outfits or taekwondo or something. But to say it's an odd image is putting it lightly. But finally, we reach the actual game, and it's not right. We are greeted by the usual FNAF 1 office, but everything is just barely visible with this heavily distorted filter over it. Oh, and you can also not use the doors, so we are probably cooked. But something is already off about this office, if you couldn't tell, with what looks like some type of animatronic mask already under the desk for some reason. But then again, I can barely make out what's there. We also get a phone call, and it sounds like this. And obviously it's very muffled and almost screaming like in the audio from the phone call. It's definitely the most haunting thing about this game so far. Okay, let's go ahead and check the camera system, and oh, you can only use 1 camera. But hey, at least the whole cast is there and they seem relatively normal. But yeah, flipping through the other one does absolutely nothing, so that's fun. Very soon into the night though, when you open the camera, every single animatronic has disappeared from the main stage. I'm gonna literally freak out. This is a little weird. Well, it's 12 a.m. The animatronics must be going easy on me.
Hello to? Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah. If you couldn't tell by now,
Nanti,
there was absolutely
why?
no way to survive the night, and that's not the point.
Wait,
It's this heavily
you-
corrupted
what time come
FNAF
back?
game that's designed to freak you the hell out. And honestly,
What?
it's working. The design of the Chica is just
Okay.
awful to look at, and it literally looks like her face is
Hello?
melting off. And the small eyes and human
I don't
teeth
know.
is just terrifying.
What did you say?
Following this, we were
Okay,
greeted
bye.
with this screen, and the
Oh.
text, "Good job," is presented to
That
us.
was
Because
hard,
I
man.
guess us dying a horrible death was a good thing.
granddad.
But what's most interesting is this set of
Happy having
3
that.
images. And let's just go over these one by one. First, we have Chica just looking horrible again, staring and looking down at a baby in her lap, in which, well, that baby does not look happy to be there. Then we have what I would consider the most horrifying image from this set, and it's Bonnie smiling and sitting next to this heavily distorted girl. And something about this is just so uncanny. Bonnie looks nothing like an animatronic anymore, he's just wearing this evil grin on his face. I literally hate this image so much, it's just so weird and disturbing. Then the last one is Foxy, which almost has no face practically and looks like there are X's over his eyes for some reason. And his hook is raised and the kid he's next to looks, well, not happy to be there in the slightest again. But as the screen stays on for a while, we can see something at the top start to form. It looks like the Walton Files rabbit, but honestly this would most likely be Springtrap due to the yellowish greenish color. And as you can hear, his laughter before it cuts off when we are taken to the next part of the game. A mini game where we have to feed cupcakes to these.
Holy fish paste, what is that?
These distorted and eyeless faces. We have to feed all 6 of them a bunch of cupcakes, which is usual FNAF minigame stuff. But once we do, something shows up on screen at the top left corner. A white square in the text, "Go, go, go." Hopefully we're going somewhere nice and pleasant. Oh, it's another minigame. And these totally normal looking kids. What am I even doing here? Well, in this minigame, we have the ability to access 3 different endings, depending on what we do. Let's start with the first one. We jump over the platforms as we feed the kids before reaching a red lever. And then this glitch block shows up at the bottom of the screen and we are greeted by this if we touch it. And I have no idea what that image was, but it looks like Freddy, and we hear a lot of loud noise. It also seems like there's just a lot of blood on him or something of that sort. It's really hard to tell. We will just call that the glitched ending. Let's go to ending 2. With this one, we end up going instead of the glitch block after the lever, we touch this platform at the end, and yeah, we are greeted by, well, Golden Freddy, and our whole screen turns red. We can see him standing there with a present before being jump scared by this thing, and I have no idea who this is. He definitely is a weird fella to say at the least. And of course, we are greeted by an anti-piracy screen, in which it asks if we are stealing. With this game's whole vibe feeling less like a malware FNAF and more like an anti-piracy FNAF game, especially with this screen. Okay. On to the secret and final ending of this game. With us this time hitting the lever and going all the way back to the left side of the area, and well, jumping off and getting the least scary and best ending. With us just standing around with the game, aka Chica, Bonnie, and Foxy, with the text Finn at the top. But if you close the game while on the screen, we are presented by something at the last minute. This. The marionette and his face appear for just a split second. So that was the Five Nights Free Edition. Honestly, one of the most horrifying depictions of the original Five Nights at Freddy's game. And I like that the game isn't really a virus game, like all the others, but more like an anti-piracy version of FNAF 1 that makes players regret trying to get their hands on FNAF for free. It almost makes you feel like it's made by Scott Cawthon himself as a troll to people who try to steal FNAF. I don't know if he'd actually do that, but it's funny to imagine if that was the case. But moving on to the next game by Java's Games. FNAF 2 Stingray, which is also called Stingray Edition, is this creator's take on the FNAF creepypasta, aka a story in which people would download this version of FNAF 2 that turned out to be a virus. It would mainly occur on Android phones, and would apparently be deadly and cursed, and yeah, none of it is real. But what is real is the version that was created by Java's, and to say it's horrifying is an understatement. This game starts off with a screen that is, well, this. You can kind of make out the animatronics in this, with one of the ones in there seeming like Toy Chica, but they obviously look very, very wrong. With this big, wide open mouth and just a whole bunch of teeth. But the game has a whole lot of, I don't know what language this is, but yeah. This mainly seeming to hammer in the fact that this is a not real version of FNAF 2. But starting the game, you get put into the FNAF 2 office. But something is going wrong again. You see these stretched out and compressed buttons for computer and mask. The office also has this giant red, eyeball? Sure, in the middle of the office. Because, you know, you gotta make sure someone keeps an eye on you while you're working. And the most obvious weird thing being the marionette just chilling and standing in the corner, instead of having to wind up his music box. What a fun, silly little guy. We love him. This game also starts off with a phone call, which is kind of unintelligible. But I'll let you guys listen anyways.
Oh yeah, nothing. Just wondering, why did they change the zombie pigmen into piglins?
They had like, it's not changing. They just have multiple.
Yes, I know, but like the zombie pigmen like change into something different.
No, it's when piglins go into
Yes.
when the
Yes,
Back to the mechanics.
yes,
We
I
have a
know,
mask
but
that
like,
instead of
why
being
did
a
they
normal
change
FNAF
them
2
from
mask,
pigmen to
it's a mask that if you
piglins?
wear for too long, you will die because of this toxic meter at the top
No
left-hand
idea.
corner, in which you will give yourself
Okay.
carbon monoxide poisoning. Woohoo!
sorry.
This computer has 3 cameras: the basement, the show stage, and the main hallway. And we get to see some really not so fun things in these cameras, like this guy. Who he is, I don't know, but he sure is evil looking. But shortly into my first time playing this game, I was greeted by Toy Chica. Yeah, she is just a giant mouth with sharp teeth, which scared the heck out of me because apparently the only way you're supposed to stop her is if you shine a light on her. But the most creepy of all was following this and the game over screen. It's this dark red image with some things I don't even know what I'm looking at. But you can obviously see some horrifying smiling thing behind this mummy, dead body looking thing screaming. And the screen says game over, and you fell asleep. Which, yeah, I am not falling asleep after playing this. But you have the option from here to either admit defeat or say no. But if you keep pressing no over and over again, if you keep dying, you will run out of these lives, and if you run out of these lives, you cannot play the game anymore. Unless you close it and reopen it, of course. There's also a couple of other animatronics, but there's Mangle, which looks like this. I'm not gonna try and explain that, but you have to put on your mask for her as well. And there's Old Chica, which requires you to put on your mask for her too. And you have to listen to see if she's inside the vents, because if you don't, she will get you. Toy Freddy is a really annoying one. He will continuously ask you questions that you have to get correct, or he will kill you. And they pop up on screen quite a bit. And Old Freddy apparently, which looks like this guy, he wears this human mask over his face, which is haunting to see. And the idea of it seems to be that he's trying to pretend to be human so we don't think it's an animatronic, similar to what we, the player, are doing. Which, honestly, thinking about it is kind of funny, but actually seeing it is so terrifying. But going through the entire night will end up with us getting this screen with more text that I couldn't tell you what it says on screen, followed up by this.
Okay, I'm starting with the pillar already.
What?
I'm starting with the pillar.
Oh, yeah.
The oxidization is going well.
That's nice to know. At least something's going on. is recovering at least.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't. It's
So honestly,
It's
this was a
scary
horrifying take on the
for
Stingray game, which is already scary
my
from the
idiot
Vibing
brain,
Leaf
you know?
video, but
Yeah,
actually playing it is
I get it.
quite the experience. So in conclusion with this one, the final game is called springdo.apk, which is the shortest one and for me the most confusing. Let me explain. This game is a mobile game made for Android. The game's loading screen shows this image with this, well, balloon boy, but obviously something is wrong with him. Behind him is this uncanny spring trap. When loading into the game's home screen, you are greeted by Springdo himself, which shows him with no eyes and just something's not right with him. When tapping, we are greeted by a second loading screen. It has Chica in it, and she looks, how do I put this? Burnt and a bit melted except for this blinding white bib she is wearing. It honestly looks like someone took her into Photoshop and just smushed her face a little bit. We are presented with one more screen. It's a phone that's ringing. And we see the top and it says, "You are banned in the house of Springdo. Your task is to find a way out." The phone call itself is unintelligible, sounding like this. Getting into the actual game, we are put in a room and we can tell immediately that this is the FNAF 3 location. Standing in front of us is Balloon Boy, looking as cheerful as ever. Clicking ahead, we are put in the hallway, but if you wait a couple seconds, Springdo will pop up. He has no bottom half and just levitates there and waits. It's very eerie. It's really weird how he just doesn't attack you, and I don't know if this was intentional, but it's completely odd. Moving forward in the hallway and waiting too long, we will see this. And to say that was the most ear-piercing noise and jump scare ever, I literally had to turn that down for everyone watching. But if we survive all that and just click ahead, we can reach the exit. And you find that it's all boarded up. And if you wait, then you get this. And you learn that there really is no escape from Springdo. And trust me, I could not find a way out of this. I don't think you're supposed to. Springdo is just a simple, short experience for anyone who wants to play it on their phones, I guess. But I played it on computer. But for some reason, the Springdo character just seems so creepy to me and honestly odd. I would love to see a full-length actual FNAF game made by this person of this character. And honestly, more lore on Springdo himself. But it's a short and absolutely unnerving game. And rest in peace to the little 5-year-old that downloaded this on a whim and probably got jump scared so bad they never played FNAF again. And that was all of the games. I really did like all of Java's games. And we went through 3 of his FNAF games and you should check them all out. I will link them all in the description for you guys to check out and let me know if you find your own secrets in these games as well. Java's also has a lot of other games on Game Jolt, so make sure to also check those out and let me know what you guys think. These games were just such an uncanny and bizarre way of playing Five Nights at Freddy's, and I really enjoyed them even though they were so terrifying. This eerie and cursed vibe that makes the games feel like they came straight out of a creepypasta or an urban legend is refreshing. But thank you guys for watching, and let me know in the comments what you guys thought about all these games. And yeah, that's about it for now. I will see y'all next time.